What is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable. Week 2 of the preseason is in the books, and on tonight's episode, we'll be recapping all 4 games from within the division. Folks, we are just about 2 weeks away from the start of the season, so enjoy the remains of the preseason talk here, because we are getting awfully close. And on the back end of the episode, you're going to want to stick around, because we have a heated debate coming around the corner. We will be doing our NFC West quarterback hierarchy, so make sure to stay tuned. But of course, I can't do it alone. Let's welcome in the fellas, Jake, Brandon, Jesse, and Mike. Brandon, I was thinking about you earlier. Not that I don't think about all you guys, but Brandon, you in particular, because I was watching a little daytime television, and I don't know if you guys saw this, but something caught my eye. I did a double take. I'm watching my man Colin Cowherd. He's doing his preseason herd hierarchy. And I see the Rams pop up at 8, and I'm waiting to see what he's going to be doing. Obviously, are we going to go status quo here? What are we going to do? Where are the Niners going to be? Are they going to be on there? But there was a particular team that popped up that took me by surprise. The Seattle Seahawks. Colin Cowherd, at least according to the herd.
Wow.
The 6th best team in the NFL, one slate behind the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, I know he's got the Broncos at 4, so that might illegitimize this listing, but figured I'd bring that to your attention, Brandon, because the hype, which felt like maybe wasn't there throughout the duration of the preseason, I don't know if you feel it on your end, but is it building up out in Seattle? Does it justify a guy like a national radio man and Colin Cowherd putting him at 6?
Absolutely, it does. I think you're seeing a late hour of this. Orlovsky was also getting on this train here, I think, earlier in the day, and you're starting to see people take note of what's kind of going on in the preseason and what Mike McDonald is building out here in the Pacific Northwest. And they're understanding this is not just a everyday coach. This is a guy's a really bright guy, and they're implementing what he's wanting to implement the right way. They're doing it properly. They're not trying to, microwave it, fast forward the situation, if you were. And so they're saying, wow, this is actually a really good team with a lot of talent they've stacked up over the years. It kind of seems like it might be getting ready to pop. And indeed, I think that is the feeling you're getting. When it comes to Cowherd, he's not been a particularly kind guy to Seattle, even though he comes from that area. In fact, He's been pretty harsh on us throughout the years. So when he's coming around and saying this, I don't think it's even as much as it's his outlook. He's a guy who's generally connected the league at times, and not every take he has on this, but there are some takes he has where I think he's more being informed from smarter people that he's connected into that are kind of telling him, hey, you might want to be in on this thing to look smart on this down the road on that. And when it comes to Denver, he's buddy with Peyton. So he's completely lost. That's the problem with Cowherd. He lost the thread when it came to being unbiased long ago. But cool to see. He's one of the few people out there that actually put us high in the ranking. Everybody else has like 20s.
I'm just glad he's Nick Wright's anti-Chiefs. He's like the anti-version of that. So whatever he's got to do to put them down a notch, and now with the Angles, the Broncos. So I'm with it. But you're bought in. Cowherd's bought in on the Seahawks. One person we know is bought in. That's Megan. A banger. Megan. Brandon, please. Brandon, please. Indulge me. Thanks.
The new profile picture, too. Is that profile picture?
That's good there, Megan. Looking good. Let's go.
Look at that. Yeah.
Right.
Good call, Mike. Megan's got a new custom Seahawks cartoon profile picture. She is not messing around. Megan comes in to kick us off saying, I know getting hyped for a team in preseason is redundant for the most part, but I am so damn hyped for week 1. Wow. So we open up, right, talking about the hype of Seattle, and Megan is echoing that sentiment. She's saying, just wondering if Jesse feels the same way, and also wondering what he'll look like wearing the cap that Brandon and the 12s will be gifting him after the game. Jesse, right out of the gates here.
Man, can I go home? I just feel like shots fired. I haven't even said anything yet, and I'm already getting picked on. Listen, that preseason game, I'm not going to lie, got a lot of 49er fans' attentions. I will tell you that right now. And I have never seen that from a preseason game. The way they were able to run the ball, the way that offensive line was able to dominate in that game. I'm a little worried, I'm not going to lie. But a bet's a bet, and my 49ers will deliver. Brandon will be wearing the 49ers hat. Rather, I will not be wearing a Seahawks hat.
I got that thing custom made, man. It's going to be 12 for life down the side. It's going to be number 1 fan down the other side. I don't even care the cost. I'll pay it. It's coming your way. It's going to be the most audacious thing you've ever encountered in your life from a hat perspective, and you are wearing it.
We know Megan's going to have an eye out for it, because last time around when Jesse was doing his hat switches, Megan was the only one keeping track. So we know she'll be looking out for that hat. should the Seahawks beat the Niners. Let's get it. Let's kick things off here, talking about what we saw over the weekend, preseason week 2 in the books. And Jesse, I got to start with you because you kind of led me to the water here. You're talking about a big reaction from the 49ers faithful over the weekend, playing the Las Vegas Raiders 22-19, the final. Mac Jones leading the way for the Niners, 13-16, $135. So you told me, or you just said to us rather, that the conversation was positive or negative coming out of this game.
Well, I mean, I think the game itself, it was overly positive outside of the injuries, which is super tough to deal with. You never know. I mean, they lost Dominic Puni. If he doesn't play week 1, that certainly doesn't help my cause of not wearing a Seahawks hat. But the injuries are certainly a topic of conversation. The 49ers are down to basically no running backs, wide receivers, and now have a hurt offensive line. Both of their guards are hurt. So that is the talk coming out. Oddly enough, though, the talk is also about our kicker. Jake Moody started out very shaky in this game. Jake Moody was a player that was drafted in the 3rd round. This is year number 3. They put him in a kicker competition because he struggled last year. He never technically was in a kicker competition. They basically cut his competition before the preseason even started, which was a head scratcher. And then he missed a 53-yarder in this game, and it looked awful. Not to mention, he also changed his approach to his kicks this offseason, which is sign number 1 that your kicker has the yips. However, he nailed 4 of 5 kicks, including a 59-yard game winner. Now, again, it's only preseason, but this might be a situation where we look back and say that is the point where Jake Moody actually turned his career around. For the 49ers' sake, they're going to be in a lot of close games. So if Jake Moody can be that guy, that is super important. But I do have one concern coming out of this game, and I've brought it up on all my shows. Deommodore Lenoir is the 49ers' number 1 corner this year. He's taken over for Charvarius Ward. He's been fantastic as a corner thus far in his career, but he's played the nickel corner spot up until this point. Now he's moving outside, and the assumption is he's going to be just as good as he ever was. He struggled in this game, and he didn't only struggle in this game, but he struggled in the joint practices against receivers that are not particularly good. Skill sets can be very different from an inside corner to an outside corner. Do I know that he's a good player? Yes, but I only know that he's a good player when he's in the slot. I do not know for sure he's a good player when he lines up outside. And number 1 wide receivers is a whole different ballgame. He's talked a lot of trash this offseason. I hope that he's able to show that he is that deal, but I am a little bit concerned coming out of that game in those joint practices.
Talk to me a little bit about the wide receiver performances in this game. Obviously, I think we're all looking forward to seeing what Ricky Pearsall is going to be bringing to the table. 3 for 42. Robbie Chosen, 5 for 92 in this game. So with Deebo Samuel out, right, we're going to be looking to see what this looks like for the 49ers without him. Brandon Ayuk, of course, coming off the injury. That'll be interesting too. But you're looking at Ricky Pearsall, Robbie Chosen in this game. Anything stand out to you there in terms of the weapons Brock Purdy's going to have at his disposal?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not going to be the top tier weapons, that's for sure. Brandon Ayuk's going to start the season on PUP, so he's not going to be there. They have a suspension as well within the wide receiver room. So Ricky Pearsall is going to have to step up. I mean, he was the 31st overall pick just a year ago. When you're a 1st round draft pick, and yes, he was shot. That was very unfortunate, but he dealt with a lot of injuries before that. And then this offseason, he dealt with some injuries. He only flashed for 2 games last year. And so there are question marks around Ricky Pearsall. However, he looked phenomenal in this game. He and Brock Purdy were on the same page. He's a little bit shiftier than what Brock Purdy's used to. He adds a little extra to the top of his routes. And I think that Brock Purdy had mentioned he and Ricky had a little bit of trouble getting on the same page. But in this game, it was very clear they were very much on the same page. And that's going to be super important to the success of the 49ers pass game. Yes, they have George Kittle. He's technically the number 1 guy. CMC is always there for the safety blanket, but they do need a wide receiver who can separate. Ricky Pearsall might struggle with some press coverage, but Kyle Shanahan can certainly get him some free releases, get him in motion, have him working out of that slot, give him 2-way goes, and he should be good to go. So it was good to see Ricky Pearsall playing some good football, and he and Brock Purdy being on the same page.
So we've been focusing in on quarterback, of course, during the preseason here. Many young quarterbacks were looking forward to seeing what they're going to be bringing to the table. So you could be thinking of a guy like Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Shadur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel. No. Let's talk Stetson Bennett. Let's talk about the guy lighting the world on fire out on the West Coast. The Rams beat the Chargers in the SoFi Bowl 23-22 in preseason week 2. And Stetson Bennett is getting a whole lot of reps, and he's looking pretty good in those reps. 40 passes for Stetson Bennett in week 2 of the preseason, 324 yards on 28 completions, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Not to mention Jarquez Hunter, by the way, the recent addition to the running back room for the Rams, had a decent outing as well. Got a lot of carries. Maybe you'd like to see a bit more yards per carry based on the amount he touched the ball, but a ton of carries nonetheless. So, Jake, talk to me here. Stetson Bennett's been getting a lot more pub than just, hey, he looks pretty good as a backup. He's been being talked about this past week as a guy where Rams fans and NFL fans alike are sitting there saying, man, is there something to this guy?
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I like him a lot. I like watching him. His moxie reminds me of Baker Mayfield. Has some Brock Purdy to his game as well. He's a mobile quarterback that Sean McVay doesn't otherwise really have on the roster. So, that's cool to see. And, I mean, Bennett, when the odds are stacked against him, he's proven everyone wrong at every point. And I think he's once again doing it, and he proved me wrong. I thought he was done. That rookie year was not good, and it didn't look like he was ever going to come back. And, a lot of people felt like he was going to retire. And then he comes back and has a horrendous preseason last year. And then he comes back this year, and you're starting to hear from Mike LaFleur, like, hey, this kid he's figuring it out. He's having a really good camp. And it's like, okay, well, show me, don't tell me. And so you go out and you see, and you're like, okay, well, against the Cowboys, he looked good. Against the Chargers, he looked really good. So I see a quarterback that's looking really confident. I see somebody that's, fearless. And, I think he's up for the challenge of being a backup in this league and a spot starter, maybe like a Case Keenum. When people say that he's going to be a franchise quarterback or a starter, I just think we're getting way too ahead of ourselves here. It's not to say he can't have one of those crazy careers or whatever where he ends up being a starter in his 30s and figures it out and ends up being really good. But to bank on that, I just don't think it's the smartest move. And I see a lot of this. The Rams should trade Jimmy Garoppolo and, play Stetson Bennett as the backup. And I just wholeheartedly disagree. I think Garoppolo's a lot better than given credit for. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a top 15 quarterback, but to act like he's not top 32 in this league, I think is a little ridiculous. We look at the Week 18 game against Seattle. Look at the fact he's played in a Super Bowl before. Garoppolo's won games in this league, and he can still operate the offense how Sean McVay would like it. Not to the level of Stafford, but he's still good enough. So, yeah, I would say pump the brakes a little bit on Stetson Bennett. Enjoy what was probably the most fun I've had watching a preseason game, but this idea that he's like the future franchise quarterback or, he's going to back up this year and they're going to trade Garoppolo, that's just nonsense.
So usually if you're having fun watching the preseason, that means you were watching a lot of good, and it looked like there was some good from the Rams this past weekend. Yeah. So talk to me. What had you excited? What did you like that had you, all bought in watching that game in its full duration?
Well, the thing I love about Sean McVay is he doesn't care if it ultimately hurts him and he's more likely to lose his coaches. He's having Nathan Scheelhaas, who is somebody that was, one of the front runners to get that Jacksonville Jaguars offense coordinator job. He's having him call the plays. He's having, Aubrey Pleasant, be the head coach of that game. And full on, he was the head coach. I don't even think we saw McVay on the camera for almost the entire game, but because of that, you're getting these guys and they're in a position where this is the first chance of theirs to really get, make a name for themselves. And yeah, it might be preseason, but, teams are going to look back and be like, oh yeah, Aubrey called a good game. Maybe he can be a head coach in this league. And oh yeah, Nathan Scheelhaas looked really good, calling the plays and what have you. Maybe he can be an offensive coordinator in this league. And, does that help McVay in a sense? I guess it grows his tree, but it hurts because now he has to go and likely replace those guys at the end of the year if somebody picks them up. So love that McVay does it, though, because you get a different flavor. It's not a vanilla. It is, but what I mean is they're not just going to run the most basic offense. They're going for the jugular. They wanted to win that game. they put AJ Green back on the field. They put Josh Wallace back on the field. Two guys that I think are going to make this 53. I think they really wanted this win, and you saw that. But guys, the most important thing was when Justin Herbert and the starters were out there on both sides. By the way, the only ones they were missing, of course, Rashawn Slater out for the year. Hate to see that, their left tackle, and then Khalil Mack and Derwin James were benched. But everyone, and make no mistake about it, everyone on the Chargers that is going to start was starting against not the Rams backups, but their third stringers for the most part. And I saw some great things all across the board. Stetson Bennett goes down and, just orchestrates a great touchdown drive. They take a 7-3 lead. The defense gives up some explosives like you would expect. And then instantaneously, they're getting after Justin Herbert. Herbert tries to pick on, cornerback 5, I believe, on this roster, AJ Green. AJ Green stifles him. He goes 2 for 5 in this one. I thought the Rams looked great. And I thought, once again, continuing what we saw against the Cowboys, except going up against the starters and going up against the Chargers, I think it holds more merit.
Good news for the Rams, right? We talked about Stetson Bennett. We talked about Jimmy Garoppolo. And even though you might feel comfortable about the Rams quarterback room, you don't want to see those guys out on the field in the regular season. That's because you got one of the best quarterbacks in the league manning the ship in Matt Stafford. Back in business. First 2 practices for Matt Stafford this summer have come and gone. He practiced twice this week. Sean McVay, confident in what he saw. McVay said, quote, "I thought he looked good. Thought he looked better than yesterday. I thought it was a step in the right direction, and we're going to continue to hope that he's able to stack days and feel good." And that's what's happened so far. Jake, you were confident in Stafford being ready to go. He's back at practice. So talk to me. How are you feeling about him being back? What's the word out of him being back? And do you really feel as though right now he is fully ready to go in just a couple of weeks here?
Yeah, he's going to be ready for, week 1, just like, I anticipated and, I was hearing. And, this is why I really tried to keep a level head on this because, a lot of things happen. And I had said that they had a plan where, they really were not trying to rush him. They were not trying to, even before, the back flared up, they really wanted to take the load off of Stafford because every year, he's getting older. And they have him go through a full off season. And, just because he's not, playing in preseason doesn't mean that's not, tread on his tires, if you will. But you look at Stafford and yeah, today is his best, practice yet. He's still ripping it. And everybody that I've talked to, they feel really good about where he's at. So, I don't really worry. And the reason being, I know I see it all the time. Like, oh, well, he's just one hit away. It's like, newsflash, he was 65% healthy at the end of the year. He won the Super Bowl going into the playoffs. That gets reported by Diana Rossini, and he was outstanding in the playoffs. So I just think this is one of those guys where what we understand he's really strong. We understand he's tough. But we don't really understand truly how tough this guy is. He's one of the toughest SOBs in the NFL, and he shows us every single year. Whether he takes a big hit, whatever, right? It doesn't matter. He plays through it, and if he takes another big hit, which I imagine he will, he'll play through that. That's always been Matthew Stafford, and it is kind of funny because we know this. We watched him, when he was in Detroit, and it's been no different except, just better, you would argue, better pass protection with the Rams, but it's been no different. This guy's going to play through anything because he wants to win. And I don't know why it became such a big deal this year when we're acting like this guy doesn't play through all sorts of stuff from elbow stuff and, spinal cord contusion. The guy is just a freak show, and he's showing no signs of slowing down from the way he, just goes through his process. And everyone I've talked to like that, is close with him and everything, they say the same thing. He approaches it the same way he did back in 2022, back in 2021. And, that's just who you're getting with Matthew Stafford. He's a full-on competitor. He'll be ready to go. He is all business, and we'll be ready to go for week 1 against C.J. Stroud and the Texans.
Yeah, the
I have
story
a
of
bone
Matt's.
to pick.
Oh,
with
Jesse,
Jake
go
here.
ahead and pick it.
Yeah,
Pick it up.
Listen, I understand he's your backup quarterback now, but as a guy who was blessed to watch him for 5 years don the red and gold, when you address him, it is Himmy G, not Jimmy G. Let's just get that clear, all right?
I wasn't sure if we were getting some Oregon bias in here or something like you were going to clap back on my Justin Herbert stuff, but I'll take that. Take that.
On the note of Oregon bias, by the way, just real quick, Jesse, what'd you think of your man Dylan Gabriel over the weekend in his first start in the NFL?
The truth.
Dylan Gabriel is not going to be a good NFL quarterback. There's no way. I'm sorry.
Jeez.
Sanders is a better player. He was a better college player. He's going to be a better pro. And I think they're wasting their time, but we'll see.
Well, he's no Joe Flacco. We know that for sure. The 40-year-old
They're picking a quarterback next year anyway with their 2 first-round picks, like the Rams.
Probably.
Oh, did you guys see? They unbanned the arrow celebration.
Oh, really?
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was banned until they unbanned it. And I was like, oh. Well, what was Brandon Cooks doing?
Right. Well, you're talking about drafting a quarterback next year. By the way, Jake, your push for Arch Manning might be back on because Arch told the media today he wasn't entirely sure where his grandfather got that information. So he kind of left the door open there. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, my push never left. I don't care what Archie Manning says, with all due respect, like at all. Like I think this is more of a wait and see with Arch Manning. Who is in position to potentially get that number 1 overall pick? And will he even be the number 1 overall pick? We don't know. I mean, I really like Lenore Sellers. I know, the Rams have done extensive work on Drew Aller, as of last year. And, there's also Cade Klubnik, which I'm not a big Clemson quarterback guy, just never have been. I've never liked any of them, but I'm going to try and be unbiased towards Clemson this year and actually watch Cade Klubnik and not scout the helmet. Because I'm always really good at it. But with Clemson I didn't like Trevor Lawrence. I didn't like Deshaun Watson. I just have never liked, and I have nothing against Clemson. I just have never liked any of their quarterbacks. I don't know.
Well, the one thing with the Rams thing on that, they're sitting in the pole position on this with Archie Manning, because Manning, the whole thing with it is, do I have a crap team that I'm facing at number 1 if I come out and have a successful year, which he's likely to do with Sarkisian in that offense with a stacked roster. Mm-hmm. And if he has a bad team that's there and the Rams aren't even picking natively, they have the 2 first-round picks, and we already know the Manning family will be willing to strong-arm someone to allow another team that they like to jump up and go get the player. So history will repeat itself again on this, and it means that they don't have to be sitting number 1. They don't have to have even the 3rd overall pick. Atlanta can be 6th-ish, and LA can be 17th-ish with their native selection. And then just package those together with a little bit of extra and get it up over the top. I can completely see that being the way this works out. I'm seeing it from a mile away, and it's pissing me off. It's again just why I'm so mad at Atlanta on this situation. You sons of bitches.
Let's just hope Atlanta's good.
It's the insane thing is that a week from Saturday, it could all be decided. I mean, if Arch Manning goes out next weekend, Labor Day weekend, and tears up Ohio State in the shoe, then that draft stock's never going to be higher. Not that it already isn't as high as it could be. He's got Manning on the nameplate of his back jersey. But if he goes in and beats the Buckeyes in the shoe, look out. The hype's going to be seismic. And Jake, I would tell you, watch your back. I got a couple of Colts buddies right now who are all in on the tank mode now that Daniel Jones has been announced as the starter. So they're trying to make their push there too.
I would not sleep on Daniel Jones. He's got weapons. He's got an offensive line. I don't think he's amazing, but he's got Steve. I like Shane Steichen. He could get them some wins. I don't think they're going to be bad enough. And I know people are going to laugh. Like, oh, Danny Dimes sucks. I know you guys don't like Dan. I get it. But, and I'm not like his biggest fan, but I mean, just look at what's around him. I think there's a lot to like there. And I think he could at least get him 8-9 wins. They're not going to be in position for that. But it would be funny though, if the Rams ended up getting a Manning. Cause I don't know if you guys remember, Peyton Manning was so close to going to the Rams after he won the Super Bowl and he was going to retire. He literally decided between the Rams and retirement. And then the Rams are like, okay, now that we know, we're going to go and get Jared Goff because he decided not to come and he ended up retiring. So, yeah. And we all know that Les Snead has an in with Texas. So, yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I got my Colts buddies. They're acting like Tom Brady just hung the cleats up with Anthony Richardson not playing. I'm like, do you think the draft? I asked my buddy. I said, go look at the Vegas odds. Did they drop one game in their over/under win total with Daniel Jones being announced the starter? He goes, no.
He was always going to be the starter. I don't know why people are shocked by this. I just don't get it. What did you think when they signed him? Did you actually think? Because here's the thing: if he wasn't going to be the starter, right, then he never would have been signed. Like Anthony Richardson wouldn't have had. There's literally nothing to support that adding just like all of this competition. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a world beater or anything, but you bring in a Daniel Jones, you think that's going to help a young quarterback who's already struggling and, essentially drowning in a glass of water right now, his career in a nutshell? No. So he was always going to lose that job, and that's just the reality of it.
Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have really made it difficult on some of these GMs. I know Jesse's Niners were a victim of it with Trey Lance, right? I think we're watching this right now with the Colts. It's that upside, right? You can't help but see the potential, but unfortunately when it doesn't come to fruition, this is what you end up with, Daniel Jones as your starting quarterback. But not that that's a bad thing. Like you said, Jake, I think that there could be some positive there. And in that division, who knows? Mike, let's swing it over to you. You were on the wrong end of the Jared Stidham show over the weekend. 16-23, 240, 2 TDs. 27-7 Broncos win. Mike, on the very brightest of things, or brightest side, I guess, you could have been the Bills against the Bears on national television. So it could have been worse. But 27-7, Jacoby Brissett leads the way 6 of 8, 57 yards. I'm not sure if you went out there and got some reps at quarterback or what was going on. But talk to me here. 7 points, not much offense to be shown. Any positives to take away from this one?
I mean, this is a perfect example of those type of games where, like, when you're doing really good, you're like, oh yeah, preseason, we're gonna go right 3-0, 4-0 start to the regular season. This is the type of things that you like to say. It's just preseason, right? It is preseason at the end of the day because we got whipped. Now the anticipation was our starters going to be playing. No, they didn't. So we didn't see Kyler. We didn't see any of those guys out there for the Arizona Cardinals. Now I remember very vividly looking at the 49ers. And when I was doing my previews, I preview these preseason games just because of joint practice. But I was telling everybody that I was talking to, like, oh, thank you for whipping on the 49ers. I wasn't expecting their second, third, and fourth stringers to be as freaking dominant as they were. We went in here and we got whipped. We were not prepared to play a game. It was bad. The only real highlight that we got was our punter is really, really good. Really good bombs down the field. And Jacoby Brissett showed some flashes here and there. He only played less than a half or than a full quarter. He was gone by like the 4-minute mark, which I was a little disappointed with, to be honest with you, because then entered the Clayton Tune show and we had to endure 3 quarters and then some of Clayton Tune, and it was abysmal. Like, he had less yardage than Jacoby Brissett and more throw attempts. Like, it was abysmal. It was a terrible performance by the Arizona Cardinals offense from left to right. And it's very unfortunate because you got a lot of players on this Arizona Cardinal team, wide receivers, that are fighting for some sort of role. And that's going to be Tajon Palmer. You also got Andre Bocelli, Xavier Weaver, right? Those type of guys. Simi Fehoko, which is the former Cowboy and Chargers. You got these guys fighting for roles, but then you're throwing out there Clayton Tune, which I think he finished off the game 13 of 20 for 56 yards. Like, he was getting harassed. I will give it over to the Denver Broncos for saying that team was prepared, and their second, third, and fourth stringers are a hell lot better than our third and second, fourth stringers. But when our starters were there, when our second stringers were there, at least for the majority of that first quarter, we looked solid. I think it was pretty good. I think Jacoby Brissett did a good job, putting it down the field and getting the touchdown pass over to Simi Fehoko. But our leading receiver was Simi Fehoko with 2 receptions, 21 yards. Like, these were the type of games that you literally wanted to turn off at the halfway point because it was just abysmal. Like, people had fun watching preseason. I didn't. Not in week 2. Week 1 was fun. Week 1 was a very fun thing to watch. Kyler. But no, man, this was bad, man. This was a bad performance from left to right. It was god awful. Everybody wants to get rid of Clayton Tune. Throw him in the practice squad. I know we're going to be rolling with 2 quarterbacks this season anyways, but I don't want to see him in week 3. I know we will, but it's rough out here, man.
And Mike, real quick with this, we had some worries and concerns with your Cardinal team coming into this season with the receiver core, and that had you guys really done enough to address that? And I just look at the first 2 games in the preseason, a lot of targeting running backs out of the backfield, my guy. Not very many receptions or yards to be found with the wide receiver core here in preseason. Is this grown as an issue, or is this still something we'll be fine once you get Wilson and the little sucker out there? What's his name?
I mean, that's the hope. I mean, that's the hope for these
Kyler
wide
Murray.
receivers to develop into becoming your number one, obviously with Marvin, and number two with Michael Wilson. That is the hope for us. And then that number three being most likely Zay Jones / Greg Dortch. But like, it does seem, because I've been through multiple of these training camps. I obviously seen all these preseason games, and it does feel like the offense is pivoted to, I'm throwing that ball to Trey McBride, to now Trey McBride's getting force fed, but now we're starting to see Marvin Harrison Jr. But I've seen it in training camp where we're not really throwing a lot of targets Michael Wilson's way, which can be a solid, wide receiver too, if given the opportunity, or the other guys, below Marvin Harrison Jr. So I like that we're focusing on getting our main weapons the ball, but it almost kind of feels like the Cardinals offense works in baby steps. Like, we're going to take this 6 months to figure out how we get you the ball, and then we're going to take another 6 months to figure out how to get you the ball. That's what it feels like. Now, if this offense comes out and explodes, in New Orleans week 1, of course, we're going to be singing a different song, but that was what we saw in the last 7-game sample size when we finished off 2-5. It wasn't good enough. It really wasn't. We got to spread the ball around and not just force feed Trey McBride. Now, obviously, I don't mind it, especially if you're a fantasy owner and having Trey McBride, but there's still a concern that a lot of dump passes are happening to your running backs, your Michael Carter, your Amari DeMarcado, those type of things. To me, it is still a concern.
One of the things I'm most excited about for this show this year is the fact that I do think it's going to be an incredibly competitive division, maybe more so than it was last year, and that's hard to say. And one of the reasons I say that, it's kind of going back to what I said to Brandon earlier. From what I've been hearing, everybody seems to have a different take on how they feel about a Seahawks or a Niners or a Cardinals. I hear the majority of the same sentiment around the Rams, and for good reason. They were this close to beating the Eagles last year, but I keep hearing different takes, and I've heard plenty that say I think the Cardinals are underrated going into this year. So I want to ask you the same question I sort of asked Brandon here, Mike. The vibe right now, I know it was a negative start to the preseason here, but is there more optimism than usual going into the year, just based on another year with Marvin Harrison, trying to get the most out of Kyler Murray in a year that feels like a prove-it year? Does it feel that way, or is it kind of the same as usual?
I mean, don't get it twisted. I mean, week 1, there was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype for seeing Kyler. I mean, obviously, with the exception of the interception, there was a lot to take away from that game, whether it was with the rookies or just kind of how fluent the number one offense looked like. Like, we were moving the ball down the field. Of course, we didn't score a touchdown because one of the drives ended up in a field goal and the other one ended up in an interception. But there has been a lot of positives to take away in week 1. Week 2 was completely, literally Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Like, it was one of those situations where, like, damn, you were so high, right, in week 1, and then week 2 came around and you're like, damn, our backups are really, really bad. Let's hope that we do not have big time injuries, because I don't want to see these guys ever again, those type of things. But, there's a lot of expectations for Kyler. There's a lot of, excitement for Kyler going into, what is it now, year 7, year 3 with Petzing in this regime, year 2 for Marvin Harrison Jr. There is a lot of excitement that we're going to take the next step. Now, is that hopium because the start of the season is right around the corner? I mean, we all think we're going to win the Super Bowl in the beginning of the season. Let's be real, right? Every fan base feels that way. But I think I'm excited. I'm excited to see that our schedule is very favorable in the beginning of the season. It's a very big gauntlet at the end, but baby steps. Let's see if we can win these games as best as we possibly can and kind of go from there. But everybody, for the most part, we want to see what week 1 against the Saints can do for us.
We'll talk more about Kyler Murray in a bit here with our quarterback hierarchy. Can't wait for it. But Brando, I had to save the best for last. How about those Chiefs? Doubled up by the Seahawks. Just what the doctor ordered. 2 weeks in a row. You guys are on a groove. 33-16, shutting down the limited reps that Gardner Minshew had. 7 to 970 yards for the Chiefs, but wasn't able to touch what Drew Lock did. 10 to 12, 2 touchdowns on 129 yards. Some decent carries for Damian Martinez, a touchdown and 50 yards on 11 carries. Brandon, I know that hopes are high right now. You've been liking what you're seeing this preseason. You had to have liked what you saw against the Chiefs this past weekend.
Yeah, putting the perennial team that's in the Super Bowl in the dirt doesn't feel too bad. I don't care whether it's preseason or not. It's a hell of a measuring stick. Now, there was no Mahomes, no Kelsey, no Jones, none of the main names out there. There were some starters out there, though, across the board for this Chiefs team. And the Seahawks just handled them every which way but loose. They dominated the line of scrimmage really on both sides of the ball. Both sides of the ball were almost at times, equally impressive in the performance that they were giving. But this just comes down to really running the ball again. And this is the focal point of this team. It has been this offseason. and you felt it in this game. Your first guy, Charbonnet, comes out there, averages 9.5 yards a carry. He is busting big run after big run off. It's not one guy dominating a guy and pancaking a guy on that line. It is that wave you get on a good line where they're just washing everybody out down the line, and then there's this wide open hole for the back that he could basically Michael Jackson moonwalk through if he wanted to do so. Then you go to George Holani, your backup, and he's like, oh, that's good. You got 9.5 yard per carry average. I'm going to come and give you a 10 yard per carry average. And then Damian Martinez into the third back goes, yeah, I can do some good stuff too. There were holes for days. And then the beautiful part about this, and the part that the anti-Darnoldites need to consider with this, is how many easy throws are structured within this system. I know that Jake and Jesse are very well familiar with this and having had their own kind of separate iterations of this offense, but you get a lot of the play action under center rollout stuff. And because the running game becomes so dynamic, those linebackers take those false steps towards the line of scrimmage. You have a guy coming back across the formation post snap, and he's just wide out in space in the flat for an easy throw for the quarterback. There was like 5 or 6 throws for the QBs in this game that Kubiak scripted up just from those kind of plays. And they're simple throws that got you 8 or 9 yards every time you wanted to go to them. This, you can just feel the way this all works together, this offense, how it's connected. The passing attack connects to the ground attack. This was not the case last year with Grubb. This was not the case with Waldron. I've lamented to Jake that Waldron came from the Rams and he seemed to learn none of the lessons from McVay. He ran his own kind of offense, his own kind of style. This is pure kind of Shanahan-ish in its run. It's Kubiak's own kind of flavor with it. But boy, you can really see the benefits of how this offense, Zebot, actually does help the team and perform better, help the players be in a better position to succeed. And defensively, we didn't even blitz that much this game. We played it pretty vanilla. The 2 times we blitzed, we just completely shut them down, which I'm telling you guys, one thing to watch for this year that I'm getting really excited about. We're hearing more press man coverage on the outside at camp. Bullen saying, I'm pressing more than ever. You're going to probably put Witherspoon to the outside to get Emawari on the field at the slot. You're going to have this team maybe running a lot of this, a little more Buddy Ryan-esque defense rather than the zone-based off coverage stuff that you've typically got in recent years from McDonald, because that's the personnel he's got. And now this is also a way to mitigate some of the run game stuff you have with the Rams, for instance, wanting to run that power stuff inside. I start stacking the box now. There aren't those natural gaps anymore, is there? I start putting 5 or 6 men down the line of scrimmage every snap. You can't just take advantage of that anymore with those natural creases that exist. So I'm stoked all the way around here, Z-Bot. It's nothing but, open fields, beautiful prairie and mountains in the background. And I wish the season started today. Come on, Niners.
Sounds like 9-8 to me.
Sounds like
no. Come on, be nice. 10-7.
It's the fear in his heart, Jake. It's the fear in his heart as he's already sensing week 1. I don't have any receivers. I don't know what this team's going to be. I've got my outside. I got my slot corner playing outside. My safeties, I don't know what we've got in that. Should we give Jarrah Brown away? Should we keep him? I don't know. So he's going through it right now. It's the 7 stages of grief to Seahawks loss.
Hey, we all enjoyed Dio Lenore getting trucked, right? We all enjoyed that.
Interesting though about that. Did you guys hear about that with the helmet? So supposedly there's this practice helmet that Genty was wearing, and it's like some freaking space age. And that's why defenders were bouncing off because and supposedly he might get fined or something. I don't know. It was a video I saw on it. I don't know if it was BS or not, but I thought that it made sense because the Lenore went flying, dude. That was like he was in a bubble house.
Could be AI.
Yo, Brian, I got something for you real quick. Jalen Milroe. I'm just so curious. That's really one of the main reasons I like to tune in, just because obviously 3rd round pick for you guys. And I know you weren't pretty favorable when it happened. I'm seeing in terms of the stats, and I know stats don't tell all. I'm watching the few games here and there. Is he mainly just running? The most part, is like what you guys are using him as, mainly as a runner, kind of like a Lamar Jackson type of quarterback.
Well, he's coming in with like the 4 stringers at this point because you've run a lot of Drew Lock. And so when he's coming in there's a lot of dysfunction and guys that aren't even going to be on the practice squad that he's trying to get rolling at that point. And so everything gets kind of messy. You just fall back on your legs. It's not him just simply just trying to run. But he's been solid. And again, he's going to be a piece you're going to use to this offense where tush push, he comes down there and becomes your Jalen Hurts. You bring him out for certain sets with RPO option, have him run kind of Cam Newton-ish stuff where it's real simplistic and easy. It's basically, read, option, or pass. You give him the 3-to-1 read. It's not there. You keep it, you go. And you're going to run some of that this year, and that's going to help the offense out. He's shown that because that speed is legit, guys. I saw it on the training camp practice. When he decides to hit the ignition switch and go, he's just got a different gear that the other players on the field don't have or expect to have from the quarterback position.
Wait, you mean to tell me that his speed is different? It's almost like I was saying.
It is. It absolutely is. It does stand out. And it is something that gets him out of trouble where I don't see the read. I'm just going to go. And guys are like, man, we can't catch up to the guy. And he's 20 yards down the field in a flash.
So the throwing numbers are more of an indictment of who he's playing with, the wide receivers and the weapons he's playing with, as opposed to, right?
And you've been up in both of these two games, you run out the clock and then that third quarter. So you're like four stringers and then you're just leaning on the run. Like by the end of that Chiefs game, we were literally like just running the same play and then 3rd down and 12 running it. So there's a lot of that that's also been a part of this. But he's got a long ways to go. He's not ready to start. He's not ready to be a year from now. He needs 2 years. But you can use a little bit of this skill set immediately and get a little bit of the returns out the gate.
I look forward over the years here to watch the evolution of Brandon's takes on Jalen Milroe. But for right now, it is Sam Darnold. And look, there's never been more reason to have confidence in Sam Darnold after what we saw last year. But Brandon, I'm looking at these numbers, right? 268 rushing yards. We talked about the defense. I know you're confident in that. Is the expectation going into this year trying to channel maybe Seahawks teams of the past where we're grounding and pounding it, trying to win that way with the defense? Is that how you're feeling it right now?
Yeah, I grew up on ground knocks. That was our coach of the 80s, and he was known of run, pass. So run first down, run second down, and then your pass on 3rd down. And this is where we're going. Z-Bot, some of this, though, has to do with where the NFL's at. And the Rams got ahead of this last year a little bit with the investment in their offensive line for running the ball inside, the cover 2 shell, the 4-man fronts off the cover 2 shell, which allows for those widened gaps that I talked about, or like you with Jesse, the wide 9 defense that Saleh likes to run at times. This has now driven offenses back to running the ball in general terms across the board in the NFL. We had more 12 personnel last year than ever before. You're going to see that record beat this year with the 2 tight end sets. And so this all just doubles back down to naturally everybody in the NFL is going to try to run the ball more in general this year. We are fully embracing it. And it's a beautiful thing because you're doing this at the right time, but you're also, Z-Bot, doing this for the right stadium. I don't have to tell you about playing the stadium you do with the snow and the inclement weather. You want to build a team that can play into that inclement weather and hopefully be able to get a team like the Cardinals or the Rams that are just used to playing in super nice warm weather spots all the time that are then very uncomfortable in those environments. And then you're able to kind of extra dominate at that point because you've got this little extra advantage, if you were, and you're able to lean into by running the ball because wet weather, windy weather, cold weather, running the ball works really well in all of those elements. Passing, not necessarily the case.
I have to give a shout out to my friends over at RotoWire, but before I do, I got to give a shout out to my friends here because, folks, I don't know if you know or not, but you helped us just surpass 5,000 subscribers this past week. Brandon, would you do the honors for me, please?
Let's go. Come on.
I always laugh at that. I don't know why.
It's the best. But in all seriousness, I speak for all of us here when I say we couldn't be more pleased to be a part of this show and have you guys as an audience. It's a real privilege. And to be able to watch this grow the way that it has, to have the loyal viewers in here week in and week out, not only tuning in, but in the chat. It doesn't go unnoticed. And once again, we appreciate it more than you know. So big shout out to you guys. That was a big milestone for us. And we are dying to get into the season because we can tell how fired up you all are right now, 2 weeks out, and you've been fired up really all off season here. So we cannot wait to spend the season with you and many seasons ahead. Once again, thanks so much for all of your support. Shout out to my friends over at RotoWire now. And I've mentioned them a few times on here, but the great thing is every time I mention them to you, I can show you something different because of the amount of different options that a RotoWire premium subscription offers. I just found this one today. So in terms of wanting to figure out who you're going to go with on a given week at quarterback in fantasy, RotoWire has a tool that lets you know which quarterback has the best fantasy football schedule. And Cardinals fans, don't look away because apparently Kyler Murray has the most favorable fantasy schedule in the entire NFL on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the best. Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are at a 100. So if you see Kyler Murray in the middle rounds of your draft, might want to consider picking him up. You look down in the middle there, Rams and Seahawks at 6 and 7. So we have 3 of the top 7 teams in the NFC West on this list, and the Niners aren't far behind at 9. So you are going to be winning to some degree with whoever quarterback you end up choosing out of the NFC West here. And this is a tool you can use in a variety of different ways. This is just a quarterback position. They got running back, wide receiver, tight end, and everything in between. And once again, this is just one of the many tools that RotoWire offers, and you can take advantage of these tools and really get a next leg up or a step on the competition with fantasy coming around the bend here, use the promo code RTS, links in the description below. That'll get you 15% off a premium subscription over at RotoWire. I got a draft next week, and I've already been utilizing this, trying my best. Because every year, fellas, much like the normal season, I'm confident the Bills are going to win it. I'm confident I'm going to win the fantasy league, and I always come up just an eyelash shy. So maybe RotoWire will get me over the hump this year. Another thing of note, Patreon. Time to sign up and get those phone calls in, folks. Get signed up before the regular season starts. That's when you're going to want to get in on the action, especially maybe with the topic we have coming around the bend here. Conversations like that, heated and fun, and you can bring those conversations to the table and be a part of them. Link in the description below. Click the Patreon link, sign up, boom, you're ready to go. That'll give you the ability to call into the show and be a member of the Roundtable Network for at least a brief moment, but on a weekly basis, should you choose so. So make sure to take advantage of that. And then I got to play my hype video one last time, fellas, for the event that's coming around the bend. And the reason I have to is because we just talked to the powers that be, and there's been a lot of interest being shown in the very few remaining tickets. So if you are thinking about it, if you're on the fence, it's time to act. We are just over a month away from the NFC West Roundtable's first ever event in LA. NFC West football fans, you're not going to want to miss this. Tickets are on sale now for the NFC West Roundtable's first ever event, live from beautiful Los Angeles, California. Tickets include access to a live, in-person NFC West Roundtable show and a game ticket to the Week 5 divisional showdown between the Rams and the 49ers at SoFi Stadium on Thursday Night Football. This is the first time the NFC West Roundtable has ever been together in person, and you can watch the action right alongside the crew, including 49ers creator Jesse from the Last Second Sports YouTube channel, Rams creator Jake from the Jake Ellenbogen YouTube channel, Seahawks creator Brandon from the Hawks Nest YouTube channel, Cardinals creator Mike from the AZ Sports Fan YouTube channel, and yours truly Z-Bot, host of the NFC West Roundtable. For ticket information, email roundtablesportsnetwork@gmail.com. We can't wait to see you in LA. Brandon, I saw you getting down behind the scenes.
Oh, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling this over here. Let's go.
If you want
I got to put this up with my, I got a drop here for when we got our fullback and he does something, because we got fullback, and I don't have to tell Jesse about when you got the beauty of a fullback coming in. So we got an Oots. I promise you guys on this. So every time Oots gets something, he does something good. Here's my drop. Oots, 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 Oots.
Dude, there's no way. Oh my god.
That thing is coming every time he gets a touch,
awesome.
maybe this year.
Oh
That's coming out with the Oots, baby. I promised it. Let's go.
I love the John Wick.
I know it.
The John Wick style, cyberpunk style, like, I don't know. It just it
so
works.
well done.
It's very
so
good.
well
Very
done.
Yeah. I've never seen someone get more bang for their buck than I've seen Brandon get the bang out of the buck that he spent on that Roadcaster. I mean, he is letting no stone be left unturned.
Maybe.
Well,
I
hey,
still need to get the Jesse scream. That's the one that I want to get. The Jesse scream from, I think it was the third Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. That dude, literally every time he sees Freddy Krueger, he just goes, like, it's the funniest thing. And yeah, I need that. Anytime I disagree with the take, I'll just be like, can I just say this? So no, I need to get that. And then you have Brandon, you have the one, I'm a man, I'm 40. You do, right?
I'm a man, I'm 40.
Yeah.
I've got it.
I think he's got
one.
it.
Oh,
we've
you have that.
definitely played it. Yeah.
I heard it before on you.
I'm 40.
That's fine.
Well, hey, look, if you want to get down to some John Wick music
man.
in person, if you want to hear Jake do the Freddy Krueger scream in person, secure the ticket. Get your ticket to the NFC West Roundtable's live event, SoFi Stadium, Rams, Niners, Thursday Night Football, October 1st. Can't wait. Email roundtablesportsnetwork@gmail.com. Get the info, and we'll see you there. All right, let's turn the page here, fellas. Time to get into an old-fashioned debate. I'm interested to see what the answers are here, if they're the same, if they're drastically different. I did this same conversation on the NFC East Roundtable earlier, and I told you guys behind the scenes, it got chippy to say the least. I mean, I was watching the whole squad go at it. So the bar is set high in terms of animosity in ranking the quarterbacks within the division from 1 through 4. That's what we're about to do here on the NFC West Roundtable. Top quarterback all the way down to who you think as of right now is in the basement at number 4. Jake, I'm going to start with you because I think I know the obvious answer to your number 1. I'm interested to hear the rest of your list, but talk to me. Your hierarchy in the NFC West Roundtable, 4 quarterbacks, 1 through 4.
I'm going to say number 4 is Sam Darnold. I like Sam. I think he's a good quarterback. I think all 4 of these teams are good. I think all 4 of these teams have good quarterbacks. But that said, I just think, at the end of the day, he's a little bit behind Kyler Murray, and he's definitely behind Brock Purdy. So I'm going to put Sam Darnold 4th. I don't love his decision-making. I know that could be said about Kyler Murray. I mean, he threw an interception in the preseason, but I actually think Kyler Murray is a better decision maker. Sam Darnold, though, he has the raw talent. He has the mobility. I forget the dude's name, the announcer, but it's funny now. Every time I see or hear Sam Darnold, I just think of the announcer for the Vikings saying, "Throw the ball, man!" Like in the playoffs. Like it's just that's all I hear every time his name is uttered or I see him on TV. It's just like that dude. I don't know, but I think Darnold's a good quarterback. I will say this. I'm going to stand by it. I still think he's a downgrade from what Geno Smith provides for this offense. So for that reason, and that's on you, Brando. You talked me into Geno. I'd probably put Geno number 3 or even consider 2 because I like Geno a lot this year. I think he's going to be good on the Raiders. Okay, number 3, Kyler Murray. I like Kyler more than the next guy. The Call of Duty stuff is totally a joke. I like, busting Mike's balls there, but obviously I like Mike and I like Kyler. I've liked Kyler since I watched him in college. And I feel like Kyler, there's a level of hate that he gets where I feel like, okay, it's justified to a degree. He hasn't taken that next step. I get that. But at the same time, I don't think we're giving him credit for the things that he does really well. And we all in this panel have agreed in the past. I don't know if we still agree, but I'd imagine we do. Kyler is the most physically talented of all the 4 quarterbacks in this division. So really, you just have people that are hoping he never figures it out. Because if he does, he's going to be really freaking good. And he already is good. So I like Kyler. He can keep anything going. They said he was too short. I like my short kings. And I'll tell you, at the end of the day, he's done a really nice job of just finding throwing lanes. And I don't think it's been as much of an issue as people blow it out of proportion. Number 2 is Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is playing a Super Bowl. I think Brock Purdy, a lot of people like to focus on how he's just a system quarterback, but I would argue he's made that system a lot better than what it could be. And I've defended Brock Purdy for a while. I still have issues with paying him with the Tommy John under his belt, and he's had some issues there, but I think he's a good quarterback. I think you're probably looking at all 4 of these guys, well, at least 3, the first 3. You could make the argument they're in the top half of the league. Darnold, I think, you're probably talking about 18th, 17th, around there. But I think they're 4 really good quarterbacks in this. And then, of course, you have Matthew Stafford, who I just think he's one of the best throwers of the football I've ever seen in my life. Can make any throw on the field. Has an absolute dart. And, I feel like even despite the fact he's 37 and he deals with ailing injuries, it seems like every year, I just think every single game he makes a throw that I've never seen before. And last year specifically, there was a throw that was just absolutely unreal. Everyone talked about Puka Nakua's catch, and rightfully so. When you have Puka Nakua making crazy catches, it's easy to kind of take away from what's ultimately happening. But I think Matthew Stafford, when it's all said and done, is going to be one of the more underrated quarterbacks to ever wear a uniform in the NFL. And I don't think he gets enough credit. He's the only quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl, throw 3 touchdowns, and not win Super Bowl MVP. And people will say, well, Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp deserved it more. And I'll just say, well, it doesn't matter if Stafford threw 5 touchdowns. He wasn't going to win Super Bowl MVP because there are a lot of people that refuse to admit that this guy was held back in Detroit. He He wasn't a stat patter, and he is the real deal. And I see it every single game that I watch with him. It's just, he'll go through, spurts where, okay, there's the interception or whatever, but he fights tooth and nail, and I just think he's one of the toughest guys in the league, but I still think he's a top 5 quarterback in football, and I know people point at the stats. I don't think the stats have truly indicated, the type of quarterback he is. I think we're going to see more back to the 2021 to 2022 season, providing health is in play. So that's my 4. But again, I think Brock Purdy's still very good. I like Kyler, and, Sam Darnold. I know, Brandon, it kind of sounded like I was being a little bit of a hater, but I do like Darnold. I've liked him, since I watched him at USC. I just feel like the other 3 are a little bit better.
So we had Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Kyler Murray, and Sam Darnold rounding out Jake's list. I got to go over to Brandon now because I'm interested to see where Darnold lands, and if he's higher than 4, I'm interested to hear the rebuttal. So Brandon, your top 4 quarterbacks in the NFC West.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear Jake talk about the lack of imagination towards a Stafford that has a narrative hit in his first stop that he just can't shake, or that Geno had hit that he just couldn't shake. And now you have in Sam Darnold, another guy who's got a very strong narrative behind him as to what he is and who he is that he just can't seem to shake. The year he had last year, you don't just luck into. A coach doesn't just hold your hand and put training wheels on your feet, and that gets you through the season, especially when you consider the pressure numbers, how much he was sacked in totality on the year. I know the last view is the one that sticks in our mind, recency bias and all that with Sam Darnold. I get it. It was your Ramsey played. I get it. It was twice last year they played it that you guys give it. I get it. But that's not who he is or what he's become as a player. And I don't think he's necessarily a special player. This is about fit and fit to the offense. And I mention this because I think we're all going to be in agreement, Z-Bot, on the first 2 here, which is that it is Stafford the one. He's by far an easy one. Nobody should debate that at all. In Purdy's case, he's done enough to earn that second spot. And last year, not having as much of a supporting cast around him like he had through the first couple of years solidifies that. So this really, to me, I think for all 4 of us is going to come down to the bottom 2 on this, Z-Bot. But for me, on my perspective of it, I would take Darnold in at 3 over Kyler Murray. I think that I have to push back on a lot of the things that Jake said about Kyler Murray, and that height hasn't been an issue or it's been overstated. Quite the opposite. I talked to a Seahawks reporter who said he stood next to Kyler Murray, and he swears on his life that the guy's 5'5" when I was at training camp this year. 5'5".
Hey,
5.
Don't dunk on the short kings.
5. That's not the most talented quarterback, because when you're that short now, that becomes a very limiting factor. And I was in the stadium and watched it, and that guy disappears behind a sea of bodies when he drops back to pass inside the pocket. And that you feel those limitations. You feel it in the team leading the league in fade balls. 77? You convert 4 on the year of 77 fade balls on the season last year with him. He can't throw to the freaking middle of the field, and now he can't throw on the fade balls either to the edge, which he's always been inconsistent on the deep stuff in addition to that. Whereas with Sam Darnold, he put a very capable season together. I'd offer his season last year probably just about better than almost anything Kyler Murray's probably done just about his career on any individual season basis. And I don't think that Kyler had necessarily that poor pass protection when he did on those years as far as what he was dealing with. Sam dealt. That's by the end of the year, second half of that schedule. So it's close. I'm not saying it's like a big wide division between the 2, but I do feel like, especially in this roundtable a little bit collectively, not from Mike necessarily, even, but that Kyler's been a little bit overinflated and given a lot more credit for having accomplished something, in my opinion, I don't know that he's really accomplished. What is it he's exactly done to kind of earn, not that he's a bad quarterback, not that he's a bottom 30 guy, so let's not overstate it, right? Let's not straw man it. But then when we're talking about him being on the cusp of a top 13 kind of QB, I don't know if I'm watching that when I watch him play on Sundays.
So Brandon's list: Matt Stafford, Brock Purdy, Sam Darnold, Kyler Murray. I got to keep following the pattern. Mike, I'll swing it down to you here. Your opportunity to defend Kyler heading into year 7. We've talked about it a bunch here where we do know it's a big year for Kyler. It has to step up in order to justify continuing to do what you and the rest of the Cardinals fans do, right? Try to, be confident going into the year saying Kyler is going to reach that potential. So your top 4 quarterbacks in the NFC West.
So I'll start from the 1 to 2, because I do agree. I mean, last year I remember very vividly, very fighting tooth and nail for Kyler Murray to be above Brock Purdy and all this different stuff. But like really looking at it kind of from the outside looking in, Brock Purdy has accomplished a lot in terms of a team. Now, I know Kyler's got the accolades, but as of right now, like, unless I see Kyler Murray take that next step and win those big games, it's hard for me to put him at number 2. And I know it's going to piss off a lot of Cardinal fans, but it's okay. I'm being real here. But going back to the whole Sam Darnold thing, I think we're inflating what he did with Kevin O'Connell and the weapons and the stability of what these Minnesota Vikings has done. Now, yes, he went 4 for 4 in this last game. Congratulations on the preseason game. But I mean, other than that, like, he really hasn't accomplished much other than 1 year. He's still Sam Darnold. I see ghosts. That's all he is. I mean, to say he's better than, or not better than Kyler Murray, but to put him at number 3 is crazy, in my opinion. And is that me fighting for my QB? Yeah, it is, because I do believe that he can win good games, and we're still expecting. Well, we're still waiting right now, so I'm not going to come out here and say we're winning Super Bowl. Like, we got to win games in November and December. But Kyler Murray, right? Yeah, he's one of the shortest quarterbacks in the NFL, but doesn't mean he hasn't been able to win 9 games, 10 games in this, in the season. Yeah, unfortunately in 2022, he had a real bad knee injury, had to, not be able to finish it, but he can play games. He can win games in the NFL as well, regardless of the stature of what he can do. Now, yes, there is that concern about the up the middle of the field of passing those balls, up the middle of the field and getting somebody on the drag route, slant route, right? I agree with those, but Kyler Murray has done everything he can within this Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing regime to go out to actually prove that he is going to be that guy for the Cardinals. And I truly believe it. I do. He did a lot of good stuff. He took the whole the whole wide receiving staff, as well as the tight end and Trey McBride, to California to work on this chemistry. Right now, I would rather see him in preseason other than workouts. But I mean, other than that, I think it's crazy to put Sam Darnold at number 3. He hasn't accomplished anything in the NFC West. This is one of the best divisions in football, and we can see every Sunday, Thursday, and Monday when we do go against each other, you never know who's going to come out on top. We can be sweeping the 49ers, which we did this last year. We were so close to sweeping the Rams if it wasn't for a head doink. And then you guys were literally the only guys that kind of beat us, right? The Seattle Seahawks. So I don't know. I'm not bought into the Sam Darnold hype. I'm really not. Now, I wasn't in Geno Smith either, so we'll have to kind of wait and see how that shakes out. But now, Kyler Murray is definitely 3, and number 4 is going to be Sam Darnold.
I got to ask you, by the way, Mike, I need to know, Black Ops 7 did go on sale for pre-order today. Did you dodge the jokes all day, or is this the first you're hearing of it?
This is the first I'm hearing of it, honestly.
Good.
Yeah, that's the first I'm hearing of it, yeah.
Awesome.
I've done my
heard
job.
About the Kyler Murray skin they're putting in? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Imagine.
Well, can I just make a quick thing on Sam Darnold? Because I also, my thing is, longevity, right? Kyler is shown, and Sam Darnold and Kyler have both had opportunities to start. Now, Darnold was on crap teams, but he still had an opportunity. The thing is, and this is actually kind of a funny thing, you could argue Sam Darnold had the better year between any of the years that you can compare between those two quarterbacks. But that was the only real good year that he's had. So I'm not going to sit here and say he has no, and it's silly that he's like 3rd, because I can totally understand the argument. I think it's close. I just lean towards Kyler. He's done it in the tougher division. He's still been successful. I don't think necessarily, what is success? I guess it is subjective, but I think he's been a good quarterback. He's given the Cardinals a chance to win games. That said, I also want to give Sam Darnold credit, because he did just throw over 4,000 yards. He did just have 35 touchdowns and only 12 picks. And yes, I totally agree with Mike, talking about Kevin O'Connell, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, he finally had weapons and showed what he could do finally with weapons and an offensive coordinator. So, in a more, I think, quarterback-friendly offense that Seattle has built, like Brando was saying, that they didn't have in the past with Waldron, there's a chance that's not an outlier season, and he could very well emulate that this year. Maybe not to that degree, but have another 30-plus touchdown season and 4,000-yard season, or close to 4,000. So I think it's closer. I just wanted to kind of clarify that. I didn't want to come off like, this is not me clowning Sam Darnold. He's 28 years old. I feel like the problem is, he came out in 2018, and Mike just kind of proved this point without really doing it with the whole ghost thing. And I think, unfortunately, people are still bringing that up. That happened a while ago, to be fair to Sam Darnold. He's a completely different quarterback now. I just, I think you want to find like the happy medium, because I don't want to disrespect any quarterback in this division, because I think all four can ball, right? And I think Sam Darnold can get you to where you want to go, but there's just unanswered questions. And furthermore, to Brandon's point, when it comes to the Vikings game, right? I'm not ignorant to the fact that Cam Robinson was at left tackle. That dude gave up 21 pressures in 2 games. And honestly, I look back at the tape, and yes, Darnold struggled, but I look back at the tape and I say, I don't know if that was all Darnold. I mean, if he has Darisaw there, I think it's a completely different scenario. And I think, if you want my honest opinion, I think Cam Robinson destroyed his offseason. I think he destroyed Sam Darnold's offseason entirely, because this is a guy that we were talking about as one of the top free agents that could go anywhere, right? Oh, who's going to go and get Sam Darnold? He was like this hot commodity. He was a sweepstakes, if you will. And after those 2 games, mind you, with Cam Robinson, who was a human turnstile, Sam Darnold's value depleted. So I just think it's important to kind of bring up everything, in terms of that. I didn't want to just kind of shove it under the rug. I'm fully aware of what Brandon's saying. I wouldn't be shocked if Sam Darnold has better stats than every single quarterback in this division this year. But I also wouldn't be shocked if Kyler did. And I also wouldn't be shocked if Purdy did. And I also would not be shocked if Stafford did, and I expect him to. The point being is all 4 of these quarterbacks are really good, and I think Stafford is just a bit better than Brock Purdy. But then after, Purdy, I think those 2 are pretty close. We're going to see what ends up happening, though. Was it an outlier season in Minnesota, or is this the real deal? I tend to believe the latter there. I think he's a good quarterback in this league.
Jake, you're saying a whole lot to say Sam Darnold's number 4. But that's the thing, though. Let's
but I just wanted to be fair. That's all.
That you're right. I mean, this division is going to be tough, and I'm glad you're backing up Brando. But I mean, the realisticness of it all, I mean, we all thought the same thing about Geno Smith, right? So that's one thing that I will take as well, where I was absolutely wrong. How much time I bagged on Geno Smith, and then I had Brandon over here, I'll continue to say, no, he's good, and he completely swept the living crap out of the Arizona Cardinals year in and year out. But now it's time for, unfortunately, Sam Darnold to come to prove it here. But let's be real, he's number 4.
Just remember, too, with Geno didn't have a 4,000-yard season when he came in to start for Seattle. He didn't put up 35 touchdowns. All of the same narratives that we're tracking, I'm hearing, and you're saying ghosts, and what Geno was, he doesn't pay up his bets. Wait, we're talking about something that happened when he got punched in the face 10 years ago, and people were saying it to me and say, that's a reason. It's a valid reason. And it's like, it's not when it's that far ago. And it's the thing with Kyler, and I'll be quick. I know, Jesse, you haven't had a chance to talk on this. It'll be really fast. The thing with Kyler in Arizona is these quarterbacks get different opportunities in different places. Different organizations are in different bad states or different good states. Different organizations just bail out on quarterbacks fast. It's not doing well at one organization and not getting another opportunity. This thing happened to Geno too. He had to wait all those years to get that next opportunity. That wasn't a representation of during that time period he couldn't have been ready to go. It was just that no team gave him that opportunity. Kyler's been given a blank check by this Arizona Cardinal team, quite frankly. And that it's like, well, we're just still waiting for him. How many years is he into this? That we're still waiting for the light bulb to fully come on for him. Not that he's been a bad player, but that he's been given this kind of easier path versus other quarterbacks that have been given a lot less of rope and have been dragged off that stage a lot faster, is all I'm saying.
But I mean, so does Sam Darnold, right? Sam Darnold's only had one successful season, and that's with Kevin
but it's also it's never in simplistic in football. When you drive down into simplicity of it's just one season on, you also have to backtrack. Why did he not have those other seasons? Was he given other opportunities at quality stops and he failed? Or did he not get that other opportunity since those Jets stayed truly? I mean, he came into our stadium in Carolina a couple of years ago, Mike, in our stadium, in our house, and beat us with the Carolina Panthers. But he wasn't given the full starter reps that year. Remember, that was when they had Baker in there. It's you don't get these opportunities one after the other all the time. So sometimes you got to wait to get that true second chance. And when he did in Minnesota, my God, man, he ran with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I got 4 letters to defend Sam Darnold's career, and that's JETS, 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 Jets. I mean, good luck having anybody succeed in East Rutherford wearing the green and white. Jesse, you had a brief stint with Sam Darnold, so you might know him a bit more than most. He was with the Niners in 2023, but as we know, Brock Purdy paid this offseason, and now he's got to go out and continue to prove that money that he earned. So talk to me, 1 through 4, your top NFC West quarterbacks.
Matthew Stafford is the most hated quarterback by 49er fans for whatever reason. I mean, I get it. He's in the division, but people just in the 49er fan base really don't appreciate how good he is. The stat watch and what, I don't know, but Matthew Stafford is the number 1 quarterback, and it's not particularly close. Brock Purdy's the number 2 quarterback, and it's also not particularly close. So now it comes down to 3 and 4. Kyler Murray, yes, I agree with Brandon, has been given this long rope where he hasn't really done the things that you would expect. The talent level says that he should be more than what he's done. Maybe he should run more. It sounds like he's talked about that this offseason, that he's going to start doing those things. Something is missing, though, and you can't quite put a finger on it. It's certainly not the talent level. He's got the arm. He's got the quick feet. He's very mobile. He can make all the throws. Something is missing, though. But that doesn't then also mean, like, 2 things can be true. Yes, he's fallen short of expectation, maybe. Yes, he's had a long rope and hasn't done what a lot of people thought or hoped he would do. But that then also doesn't mean that he's the 4th best quarterback in this division. Sam Darnold has 1 season. Sam Darnold was a turnover machine in college. Sam Darnold was a turnover machine every chance that he got up until last year. And then in the 2 games that mattered most, he wet the bed. So Sam Darnold, I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. We'll see how he is, but at least give me 2 years in this league where you can show competent quarterback play, regardless of the situation, what's going on. The way that I judge quarterbacks, and it's tough, right? Because you have quarterbacks that are put into awful situations. There's no doubt about that. Some quarterbacks are blessed with their situations. But regardless of who's around you, decision-making is decision-making. And Sam Darnold has been, historically, an awful decision-maker throughout the entirety of his career. So until I see something different, I have to put him at number 4. We'll see. I'm not saying it's that far off. It's not that far-fetched that at the end of the season I could flip them. But for right now, Sam Darnold, 1 season, I got to see more.
Good exercise here. I'm glad we did it. Far more diplomatic than that of the NFC East Roundtable. Not for good, bad, or indifferent. Just different. It was definitely more civil than that, but that's what happens when you're talking about quarterbacks, defending your quarterbacks, and we saw a little bit of it. The Darnold versus Kyler Murray rivalry brewing here at the 3-4 spot in the hierarchy. We'll have to revisit this throughout the year here, maybe the midway point or a little after that, to see if the sentiment amongst the fellas is the same, whether or not we have Darnold at the bottom, Kyler at the bottom, or maybe somebody shocks us and falls all the way from 1 or 2 down to the basement. A little over an hour here, and you know what that means. It's the best time of the show. It's Super Chat time, and as we transition to Super Chat time, over 500 of you live with us here on a Tuesday night. Shout out to every single one of you. Brandon, if you'd be so kind.
Please clap.
Excellent. Megan, by the way, typically the Super Chats star themselves. For some reason, YouTube doesn't feel like doing that tonight. I had to go through and star every single one of them. So I'm not just a hairy face on your screen, folks. I'm behind the scenes grinding. And I think I got all of them.
Shout out to Z-Bot. Let's give him a round of applause for that. That's not easy.
Brandon, if you don't mind.
Let's go.
Please clap.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you very much. We'll kick things off with Megan, who we started with earlier in the show. Megan saying, Avatar was drawn by a Hawks fan friend. Well, your friend nailed it. I think we all are in agreement here, fellas. We love the new Avatar from Megan.
Great job.
I like it.
Love it. Ruiz coming in. He's saying where Colin was wrong, Seattle whiffed. Go Rams. He does not agree with Cowherd's 6th ranking for the Seattle Seahawks. But you know what, Brandon? I listen to a lot of Cowherd, and you're right. For somebody who's from the area, he has been awfully critical of that area's sports team. So this is a rarity to see the Seahawks that high on a list.
I like Colin, but he didn't even know that Stafford was practicing the other day.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a guy I go to but I do think that whole thing of connectedness and these guys being given tidbits from people on high a little bit at times, and that when it's coming so wild with these, it's kind of coming out of left field for him, and it's like that's where maybe I'm doing a little extra math on this, but that's just what it seems.
Well, I never miss an opportunity to do where Colin was right, where Colin was wrong. Usually it's on a Monday. We're doing it on a Tuesday night here on the NFC West Roundtable. Jason Lutz, the NFC West is in trouble if the Niners get answers at offensive line, running back, wide receiver, O-line, D-line, DN, and safety, and competent special teams, of course. Oh, and once again, the O-line. So
wait, hold on. He left out the quarterback. Mac's hurt now, I think. Isn't Mac Jones got a little bit of a got a little dodgy thing?
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So you're telling me, Jason, that the Niners are just a piece away from what I can take from you. Piece away. For Jesse, don't worry. They're close. A couple of positional groups, according to Jason. We got Mo Maggot coming in. If Kubiak outrushes Shanahan this season, is that the nail in the Lyle coffin?
Oof.
I will say, I mean, I think the thing that's bothered me, I'd love to hear this from Jesse, that I've been bothered if I was a Niner fan watching how they've drafted and assembled this offensive line over the past couple of years. And I've said the same about my Seattle team, of course. Put more into this. You want to be a running team. This is who you are at the forefront. So we've got to have the line that can move people, that can open holes, that can be better than just a bunch of guys out there.
Yeah, Kyle likes shuttle speed, short arms, and I don't know, 7th rounder later.
Megan coming back in again, giving us every opportunity in the world, by the way, to see that beautiful artwork. She's saying, what do we got here? Gockridger? B will pay for the captain. What is it?
Gockridger.
That's her last name.
Oh my God, it's Megan's last name. See, listen, this is why YouTube needs to get it in gear and have these things starred.
Yeah, this is pathetic.
It's killing me, man. It's killing me. For here I am thinking Gockridger was some sort of fourth stringer that went nuts for the Seahawks over the weekend that I must have missed. But it's just Megan. But anyway, Megan's saying Brandon will pay for the cap too, meaning she's going to fund Jesse's new hat week 1.
There we go. Oh, it's going to be, I can't wait. I'm going over on Liz. I'm going to customize that thing, Jesse.
The bet is I have to buy the hat too. That makes it sting more that you have to use your hard-earned money to buy that. Now, the choice is yours, whatever you want the hat to be, but I have to buy it if I were to lose, because that makes it sting more that I had to purchase a Seahawks hat. That's way worse.
And it's
custom one. Get here soon. Come on.
No doubt. That's got to hurt. Swiping the credit card on that for sure.
Oh, I can't wait.
Tom Brady 12, who has a statue erected in Foxborough that got dumped on by a bunch of birds this afternoon. I don't know if you guys saw the footage, but it was an awesome sight to see from this guy sitting on this side of the screen. Anyway, Tom Brady 12 saying Seahawks are experts at turning simplicity into a circus. They naturally choose to complicate things instead of just handing the ball to Lynch losers. Wow, still hung up on not handing the ball off there, Brandon.
They won't let it go ever. That one's going to be faced for all time. I've been my piece with that one, but quite the opposite. I think that there's been less of a circus here with McDonald and more of a let's do things intelligently and smartly and step by step, brick by brick, and that eventually we will have built a beautiful home.
Well, the irony in that Tom Brady 12 is Pete Carroll not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch resulted in yet another ring for you. So I'm shocked you're in here complaining about not handing the ball off.
Exactly. What are you piping up about? Come on.
Feed me more. I can't wait for Bradford to take Fisk on a ride.
I do hope we get a lot of double 3 texts from the Rams this year. I really do want to see that because I think that's I know why they're doing it. I get the whole reasoning. There is some intelligence behind it. It's not just outright dumb. Okay. So it's the pass rush and what they do with the stunts and the twists and the loops off of the back of that makes them really tough to deal with. But at the end of the day, you're sometimes going to go a little lighter on that interior line, and I'd want to test it hard. And Bradford's a big boy inside to do that.
Jake, any possibility of seeing that on your end?
I kind of was confused because I was like, Anthony Bradford? It's like, I mean, all right, let's chill out there. Like he's all right, but I mean we're acting like he's Quentin Nelson over here. Like let's chill out. Let's just chill out. We got Stetson Bennett is the next franchise quarterback. Then Anthony. See this preseason, you got to just take it with a grain of salt. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was stunned to see Bennett or Jimmy G or Himmy G as Jesse corrected us earlier.
Right, Himmy G. That is wild.
List. I know. Alex coming in. Good to see you, Alex. All this talk about ugly Seahawk and Niner hats, but I'm here hoping the big booty bot tees are coming out. Can't wait for LA. Only 6 Sundays away. Wow, Alex, when you put it like that, it really is around the corner. My God. Alex, I'm telling you got to get that shirt, print it out and wear it, man. You will make my evening. You will make it. I don't know I don't know what the theme is going to be, the design. Surprise us all. Looking forward to seeing it. Looking forward to seeing you out in LA. Mo Maggot back in. He corrected this, by the way. He's saying plus 550 for Seattle to win the division, and he's already locked it in. He's seeing value on that, Brandon.
Wow.
Let's go, Yon. I love that. I love it, man. Let's go. That's confidence, baby.
Ruiz back in, and he's saying
C-Rats.
Wow. All right. You guys are getting creative. Yeah.
That is a new one.
C-Rats close to Cowboy status. Wow. I don't know. Where are they getting that from, Brandon?
I don't know. We've been building this up slow but surely and right. Cowboys are just a joke of an organization right now. So I don't know if I can see the comparison there between the two.
No. I have the Seahawks winning 10 games. I said the Cowboys will be in the running for the first pick this year.
Ooh,
I think they're that bad. I mean, I know they got Dak, I know they got CeeDee, and I know they got Pickens, but they're not good. And I'll tell you right now, if Parsons isn't playing, which I'm sure he'll play at some point, but that's not a good team. It's just not.
Even if he plays, though, he could do that whole move that guys will do when you do this to them, where he's like, I'm here this week. I'm injured that week.
Yeah,
I'm here this week.
Yeah.
Oh, this week it's feeling, and then he only gives you 5 games because he's like, this is you giving me the F you? No, F you, you know?
Yeah.
When they lost Dan Quinn, it was over. I said it right then and there.
Yeah.
Feed me more returns. He's saying, Mike, I think your team needs a new strength and conditioning coach. And Jake, if your cornerbacks are so good, where is the national media at? Been pretty silent. A little double-edged sword.
Let's
there.
never use the national media to decide who's good and who's bad. Let's never do that. Let's nip that in the. If I can, invoke anything on this podcast, let's just make that a rule.
And as far as the strength and conditioning coach, and we have been getting some pretty darn shitty luck. I'm not gonna lie to you with Walter Nolan, and yeah, we got some pretty shitty luck going on. Darius Robinson last year, we released on for like five games in the last year, so that's pretty rough. So yeah, I mean, we need a new gym. Did you guys hear we're F for our gym and the report cards?
Bill Wall doesn't do well in those report cards.
Yeah,
that's not his best day. I have a feeling he opens up his browser with a whiskey bottle spinning the top of the deal off and just takes direct,
Yep.
Those are always hilarious to me. It literally has to feel like absolute ass as an owner to see that come out on a yearly basis.
I mean, we're supposed to be getting a new facility in 2027, supposedly. So, I mean, let's see what happens.
Who the hell isn't getting a new facility, by the way? Every time you go online, it's just somebody's getting something. It's crazy. Tom Brady 12. I mean, this just wasn't necessary. I mean, this is the second shot I've gotten. Last week I got one. By the way, I always do. In the comments, someone said Z-Bot would wear a Bills Super Bowl championship hat if he had one. That's why I have to wear my AFC East championship hat. We've been over this several times. And now Tom Brady's saying New England is 2-0 in Super Bowls against the Rams. Arizona and the Bills will never win a Super Bowl. Mike, at least you can join me in misery.
Yeah, I'll join you. It's all good, man.
Oh, I mean, if they're going to have the officials rob you too, on top of just having to win the game straight up, Z-Bot, I mean, yeah, that will be the case. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Only if they had the chip technology, man. That chip technology, they would have had you over.
I don't know how you got
something else new this year, Mike.
You guys see the Hawkeye? They used
you grab Patrick's titty. You grab his titty.
Did you guys see that, right? They used the like aerial view.
The aerial view. I seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been using it in preseason. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Where was that? Where was that? Huh?
Oh my God!
I'm starting to think the electronic measuring that might have been a ploy by the advertising network because they're going to break every time they use it now. By the way,
yeah,
of course.
It's 2 hours when you come back and it's been 15 minutes, and they come back and show you the graphic. I'm just like, some guy in the thing was like, yeah, it's put it like that. I partly just want to go back to change.
Right.
Like it feels a little too like you can kind of massage this a little bit if you wanted.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm telling you right now, it's real time in soccer and tennis. Yet we got to go and we'll find it out after the break. And then, like you just said, Brandon, it's like they show it. And by the way, it's also based on wherever it was spotted too. So it just, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I have settled on it, by the way.
Really?
Z-Bot.
What's that?
Rams Bills. I couldn't remember the other day. I couldn't decide what team in the AFC. I just keep going back to the Bills.
We always do, Jake. We always do. And I'm right there with you. I'm just hoping you're right. I'm hoping I'm right. And I'm hoping Tom Brady 12 is wrong. At least if it's not me this year, Mike, then maybe it could be you. At least one of us could be happy. Now I'll be happy reading this one. Feed me more saying, you guys see that Bengals O-line last night? I saw the Bengals O-line and I saw that starting D both get eviscerated. And I didn't lose a wink of sleep over it, boys.
No, they got it coming.
Does not affect me at all.
telling
We
you.
saw it feed me more.
We
that
can see
organization is another one that just doesn't know what the hell it's doing. It's just scrambling.
Burrow's a Ram. I can feel it already.
It's either Manning or Burrow. We can't win, Jesse.
Ugh, no kidding.
One of the
Dangerous
two.
Dave. I love this name, by the way. Dangerous Dave's Jeeping Trips. I feel like I'm doing an ad read for a very awesome weekend out somewhere in the dunes. Dangerous Dave saying, my guys, missed the beginning. Don't know what's been said, but Jesse's right. Jake is talking too much. Z-Bot's praying for the Bills. Christopher Walken likes his Seahawks, and the Cardinals, they suck.
Damn.
Oh man, what do you guys do?
Nailed it.
Damn. Did he just synopsize the entirety of the NFC
Whole
West
damn thing.
Roundtable in a nutshell right there?
Sight unseen.
By the way, Dave, if you're in the LA area doing your Dave's Jeeping trips, hook the fellas up. Maybe we can get the roundtable out on a trip in one of those Jeeps. That would be fun. He's coming back in, by the way. He's saying, oh, yeah, and I forgot, fire Lyle, bring back Brick, and give it all to Salah. I think he covered all the bases there, fellas.
There you go.
Yeah.
Boy, did.
Damn.
Megan, back in. The hat is heading your way, Jesse. Oh, no, she's not letting up on this one, Jesse. She is on it. She is not.
You know
forgetting it.
what? I'm just gonna sit here and be a cool customer, and after week 1, I'll have a big smile on my face, and Brandon's wearing red and gold. It'll be great.
Oh no, I'm gonna be invading Jesse's stream post, just putting hat emojis in his stream after the game. Just hat.
Just a couple of weeks away from finding out who has to wear the headgear.
That's right, Jake and Mike. You don't want this heat. You guys shake your head over there. You got lucky. Jesse asked for it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
you wanted this
don't do
noise.
those bets. I've seen way too much crazy shit happen to ever do a bet like that. Kidding me?
The second I bet is the second it loses. That's the problem. If I've done it 100 times before, right? You know how it
Could you
goes.
imagine if you lost, like Jesse, seriously, like there's a chance that you could lose this bet on a failed field goal snap. Like I would never live that down.
If that's how the game ends, then
Clip it.
shoot me
Clip it
now,
right
yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Or
Nostradamus over here.
Jake Moody's hands. That's all.
Oh,
Jake Moody's
Oh,
hands.
well, no,
It
that's
is.
more,
Oh,
that's believable though. Like if it has anything to do with Jake Moody, I could have predicted that. But
It'd be
like,
great if we get like a hot tub time machine moment where like the squirrel comes out from the Elway play and trips in randomly. So it like just some random
oh
thing like
man.
that. Seagull hits the ball or something.
Thomas Cox, I want week 1 now. I'm tired of Hawks winning 4 or 5 games. Or I'm tired of getting the disrespect of the Hawks winning 4 or 5 games. He's ready to start it.
That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. Nobody thinks that.
I don't get
Whoever
that.
thinks that is stupid.
Not worth listening to.
Oh, Colin Cowherd doesn't think that, by the way, Thomas Cox. So you're in good hands there. At least one of the national pundits is on your side. Because somebody earlier said, right, by the way, we got to put our stock in that. So at least you got one of them rooting for you. Beyond balance, someone is getting a Hawks hat. Man, I mean, no one is letting up on the hat.
That's my
Bet.
people. Let's go.
Fire Lyle, by the way, he says. He wanted to throw that in there, by the way. Yalin coming back in. On fire tonight, by the way. Oots, I'm doing the way you did it on the song there, Brandon. Oots, block Crosby. I like that. Now, you record that, of course, right now. Did you do it all? Did you take the same sound bite and then just like copy and paste it, or did you do it throughout?
No.
Continue?
No, I performed it.
Nice.
Oots deserves a performance. You don't
figured
copy and paste on Oots. You respect the Oots.
Well, you respect him because he blocked Crosby one-on-one and has Yalin saying he'll be an X factor. And I think you wouldn't make a song, Brandon, for somebody who you don't think could be an X factor.
I don't have to tell anybody like Jesse what the impact of a Kyle Juszczyk coming from what was Baltimore to the Niners. And look, Juszczyk has been reduced down a little bit in recent years from what they used him initially, but the power of a fullback and in this sport, you sometimes have things go where you draw it all up on the X's and O's and it just gets messy post snap. And you get down to a point where you got your fullback leading and you have your running back behind him and you got one single defender out there sometimes because of that mess that can be created. And that's the benefit of having that fullback first, like what you get with, Jake's team, for instance, the Rams, so it'll do more of the single back sets at times where if you get penetration, you don't have that safety valve guy there to clear the guy out of the hole when it gets kind of mucked up and dirty like that. So this is part of where I think it's going to be valuable, but Oots is a really good fullback as well. He's just built like it, built in that 260 poundish, not quite tight end, big dude. He's going to be a good player for us and he can catch.
Well, I'm hoping he is, because that way we'll get blessed with more Oots. Just give me a little bit more of that, Brandon, please, so I can. Yeah, I'm rooting for that guy happily this year. Megan, once again, saying 5K. Way to go, lads. Yes, indeed. Megan, you and the rest of the NFC West faithful helped us get there. And once again, we can't thank you enough. It's been an awesome ride to this point. We can't wait to keep building on top of it. But thank you, Megan, for the congrats there. Ruiz, once again, he's holding it too long, Darnold. Verse will feast. Paul Allen, by the way, how many sound bites does he have? The one where he's like,
dude.
This isn't what does he say about Brett Favre? This isn't New Orleans. This is the Super Bowl or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You could take a knee and kick a 54-yard field goal.
He's also the famous no.
That's horrible.
Yeah, the Viking season's over.
Oh, Mike knows that.
Classic.
Josh McCown, right? Or was it Jake Plummer?
Right. I think it
was Josh McCown.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Feed me more back in again. You guys forget O'Connell calls his worst game in the wild card?
The wild card, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he didn't do well of dealing with his line with where they were at. He in that game, he still kept. There wasn't a lot of short passes or get the ball out of my quarterback's hands. You were leaving at times, Darnold, in that game, just kind of sitting there, kind of rolling. So,
Dan Bailey, he goes, okay, Mike, let's be simplistic then. Tell me which is the only QB that had 4,000 plus yards and 25 plus touchdowns last year out of these four. Shaking my head. Emphasis on the only, by the way, Mike.
I mean, nobody's not taking anything away from him. He had a fantastic, season last year. And I don't think that's what anybody, on this panel is saying. Everybody's saying, just prove it. Let's see what we can do here in the NFC West. The competition between these teams here that are going to be different. It's a different type of competition because, like I said, I mean, the only one that really swept us and has been sweeping us for a very long time is the Seattle Seahawks. And the Rams have done it for a wit, to exception of last year. But, nobody's saying he's not good. We're just saying, hey, just prove it with this competition, right? And if you do, then we'll have a different outlook when it comes down to 2026. But right now we're realistically looking at Kyler's been on this division and has fought tooth and nail and has beat you guys and the other teams. So it's rightfully so. He's number 3. Number 4, Sam Darnold. Let him prove it.
I'm looking forward once again to coming back to that. It's kind of like the Geno thing last year. We've kind of just handed the baton off here. So we'll see what happens. We'll get back to the 3-4 rankings at some point this year and see if we have to readdress it. Zach Bowen coming in. This year is the strongest feeling of could be great, could be horrible I've ever had as a Niners fan. I'm looking forward to watching live with y'all at SoFi for my first game there. Let's go.
Guys, Zach.
Awesome.
Zach, first of all, great name. Second of all, can't wait to see you. And it's a weird feeling to have, right, Jesse, where you just don't know. You see last year, then the year before, right? You're in the Super Bowl. So I guess if you're a Niners fan, it's fair to say that you just don't know what to expect this season.
We're going to know a lot week 1. I mean, week 1 is really going to tell us a lot about what the season is or is not. So I'm looking forward to it.
Freddie K, Rams Superman equals football superpowers. Hold on. Let me get my bearings here. I think we're going doing the theme here. Okay. So Rams Superman equals football superpowers. Cardinals are okay. I got it. The Rams are Superman in terms of their football superpowers. The Cardinals are the Flash because they're fast falling. Oof. Damn is right. Seahawks Green Lantern because they're green with envy. And the 49ers are Batman because they can only do so much.
Wow.
I want to be Spider-Man.
That one.
Yeah. Why can Batman only do so much? Can he do just about as much as Superman can? Or?
Does that mean superpowers?
He has no superpowers. He's
that's
Hawkeye,
right.
essentially.
He's just a billionaire. He's like Tony Stark.
He's rich Hawkeye.
He makes a great Lego Batman movie, though. All right.
That movie was good.
So
I
good,
liked
right?
Flash originally until I saw that equals fast falling. That's too much, man.
Yeah, that was a good one. Got to give credit to Freddie K on that one. Ruiz, once again, Cowboys history of wait till this year, same old crap. Is that what he was talking about earlier in terms of the Seahawks becoming the Cowboys, just kind of kicking the can down the road, waiting for next year, maybe?
I think maybe because Jake was saying that they could be maybe the first overall pick or one of the first. Probably why he's saying that.
I think that they're more than ever this year, the Cowboys arching themselves for, like Jake said with that word. I could easily see them top 3 pick at the end of this year, if not higher. I think Pickens is already injured. I think they lost Tyler Guyton, their former first round pick, a couple years ago for like 7 weeks. They're about to cut Maze Smith, the first round pick out of Michigan. They took as a nose tackle potentially here.
Damn.
You see that clip, by the way? Jerry Jones talking to, I think it was Kevin Demoff with the Rams when they had the joint practice. And he's like, I don't have the balls to do what you guys did, like to get Stafford. Isn't that like, I don't know, man. Like, what if they were just like, we're just going to tank for Arch Manning and trade away Dak? I mean, maybe that's what they should do. Who knows? That team is terrible. I do not like the way that team is constructed. They have 3 good players.
And they got to sense it, right? They got to internally sense it. I mean, sorry, Mike. But that's the sense. They got that we're all bravado, but there's a feeling for me on this Cowboys this year where they're kind of like, maybe not.
Yeah. The fan base doesn't seem so happy about the team and the decisions that they're making. And on top of that, Jaden Daniels is looking really good going into his year 2. That division's shaking out to be probably just the 2 teams with Eagles and the Commanders.
When your owner/GM tells the media that it's just as much about controversy as it is football, I don't know how you could be excited as a fan. You've got to have been fed up at this point. It's just unbelievable to me. That's what you get, by the way, for being a Cowboys fan. Edwin coming in. Can't wait for the meetup. I got my deposit in. I just took my kids to the Rams-Chargers game, and man, what a game. What are all of you looking forward to? I'll tell you what, everything. I don't know about you guys, but I can't wait for the whole
event. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah.
I love
it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. So
I agree with that.
Yeah, tailgate will be cool. Like in my stadium in Seattle, they don't have the tailgating, and to do that, I think is one of the real. If you go to a game, that should be like one of the get there early, get there to the tailgate, soak it up, and so I'm meeting the people being able to do that's going to be awesome too. But yeah.
I'm excited to meet these guys now.
Getting to see my brothers in person. How about that?
Yeah.
I can't wait. Edwin, we can't wait to see you and the rest of the crew. It's going to be awesome. And it looks like you already got a sneak peek, or maybe several up until this point, but you were at the SoFi Bowl over the weekend, it sounds like, so you know what you're getting into. I just can't wait to walk into that stadium just to see it in person, because it's one of those things where on TV you can just tell the mecca that it is. I just can't wait to see what it actually feels like to be inside of the SoFi Stadium. Feed me more. Jake is the type of person who talks during movies. Is that true, Jake?
No.
He's like, check out this
when
part.
we're all out there, I'll probably be pretty talkative, but you guys would not even know who I was if you saw me on the street and you didn't know me. I'm very reserved. I swear to God. I'm not a very happy-go-lucky talkative person. I am to myself, and I don't talk in movie theaters like that.
Speaking of movies, I was dead silent last night. I went and saw Weapons, and I don't know what I saw.
I see you and me both, brother.
I was dead silent until that one scene, Jake, in the basement where I audibly. I'm thank God the volume was so loud, because I ear-piercing screamed during that scene.
Man. Josh Brolin, give him all the awards. He was fantastic. He was so good. And
Thanos, right?
Yes. And if you guys have ever seen Reservoir Dogs, the way they tell that story, they tell this story. It's just genius.
Yeah, that's a good point. I thought The Substance was the most effed up movie I've ever seen, and I think this surpassed it measurably.
Well, The Substance was the most disgusting movie I've ever seen.
That was insane. Chacho. Z-Bot, watch what you say about my Cowboys. Oh, Chacho, I thought we were in a safe space here. I was not imagining any Cowboys fans in the building. My apologies.
Josh is a Cowboys fan that has supported me since day one on YouTube.
That's awesome.
I know. And I feel bad because I'm ripping the Cowboys, but I always try to explain to him, it's not that I'm ripping you. I'm actually declaring that you deserve better than what they're giving you. See? So that's how I look at it.
Their fans have been real even keeled about this. Like, they're not in on Dak. They understand what Jerry is and what he's doing. They're like, we're getting the sniper rounds ready for him. We'll just hit him with a dart and he'll be done. So they get it.
I'm not going with Chacho or what Jake said, by the way, Chacho, because clearly you are well-versed enough to get around the NFL atmosphere, taking other content outside of the Cowboys. So at least you're getting out of that bubble for a bit, because I know it's got to be tough right now dealing with the antics of Jerry Jones. Well, you dealt with our antics tonight for an hour and 40 minutes. And that's going to do it for us here. We really appreciate all of you tuning in. Well over 500 throughout the duration of the episode. It's all you guys that helped us get to 5,000 subs. It's all you guys we can't wait to spend the season with, and we're only 2 short weeks away, so we appreciate every single last one of you. Recapped week 2 of the NFL preseason. Also did our quarterback hierarchy, and next week we'll be back to recap the preseason in general. And then, fellas, we're off to the races, and it's going to be fun. On the way out the door, like button if you could, subscribe button if you could. RTS, the promo code over on RotoWire, gets you 15% off a premium subscription. Also, become a Patreon member so you can call into the show. And don't forget, if you're on the fence about the NFC West Roundtable event, do not hesitate. Tickets are almost gone. Interest has been being shown, and those tickets are going to fly. So get in on it if you want to come meet us at SoFi.
Super chat.
Oh, another one. At the buzzer.
Buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater. Maybe a double bang from Mike Breen here. Let's see what we got. It's Yalin. It's Yalin coming in with another. And he's calling you out, Jake. So that's good on you for being a good guy. Taking my eyes to a chat that's calling you out here. He's saying that's cap, Jake. That's cap.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
If you hear someone mention Stafford in public, you got to drop every statistic and life experience to prove a point. That's
no. If my dad is with me, or like somebody in my family or a friend, they'll be like, "Oh, he's got like a Rams podcast." I'm the dude that's like,
don't mention it.
We'll
prove the theory, by the way, in person in a month and a half here. We'll see if you got some crap.
No, I'll be open and talkative and friendly because I know people. It's when I don't know you, I'm like, So yeah.
And hey, by the way, Ryan saying only 166 likes. Come on, gang. We're well over 500 in here. Smash it on the way out the door if you could. Well over 500 in here once again. So go ahead and tap that like button as you hit the exits. All right, we're hitting the exits. For Jake, Brandon, Jesse, and Mike, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much, as always, for tuning into the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.